Speaker, distinguished speakers, democratically elected Speaker, and ever-focused Speaker. Mr. Speaker, distinguished honorable colleagues, there are 4 key areas this bill tends to amend to cure. And the essence of curing, Mr. Speaker, distinguished honorable colleagues, is that certain laws that we have made in the past have given a lot of power to the judiciary, thereby usurping the powers and functions of the legislature. It is in that light that this bill tends to restore. Mr. Speaker, a situation where legislators, because you want to give a lot of flexibility when making law on issues. Now, when a law is placed, not less than 5 years, it then means it's at the discretion and circumference of the court. It is in this discretion, Mr. Speaker, in these 3 key areas that this bill tends to cure. And what are these 3 key areas? Section 1.1 of the Act is amended. Section 2.1 of the Act is amended. Section 3.1 of the Act is amended. And what does the Act talk about? Those are the issues. Mr. Speaker, in Section 1 of the Principal Act, the bill was definite for the punishment of offenses on robbery, and it fixes a term of imprisonment for 21 years. Instead of saying not less than 21, but can be more than 30-something years. It is in this light that the discretionary power lies in the court. This discretionary power has been abused over the years. There are lesser offenses that can attract 21 years is given 35 years. That's what this bill tends to cure, for justice's sake and fairness. It is in this light, Mr. Speaker, distinguished honorable colleagues, that I urge you, as I urge myself, to support this bill.
Silence, please.
Where participatory democracy are allowed and enshrined. I talk this in relation to the commoners. I talk this knowing fully well that men at that back are very important. Knowing fully well that you can do justice to this bill.
Silence.
And pass this bill with the speed of light.
Order, please.
I rest my case, Mr. Speaker.
One thing that has been proved over the years is that death sentences and harsh punishments have never deterred crime. Indeed, evidence suggests that it was at the point that we started executing armed robbers and people who have committed violent crimes that such crimes that such crimes became more in our country. The second point that I want to make is that death is a finality. Evidence also shows in several advanced countries today that people who were executed for crimes after having been convicted by low courts were proved later to be innocent. So we have to be careful about generalizing things. And finally, the third point, Honorable Speaker, is that we are talking about death. We are talking about people knowing that they are committing crimes that result in death. There are many things that people do in this country, not just armed robbery, that result in multiple deaths. And if we are agreeing that everyone that has committed a crime, anyone that has done any action that results in the death of people should be executed, then we should apply the rule holistically. Number one, for instance, engineers who build houses, people who supervise houses that with substandard materials that result in collapse and death of people should also face the same consequences. That is one. I'm pleading with honorable members of the House Two, when the bill being sent by the president arrives in the parliament, that we should support the bill, that anyone convicted of corruption should also be executed. Thank you very much.
Mr. Speaker, I find it very hard to understand how my honorable colleague will advocate for removal of death sentence for an armed robber. Mr. Speaker, we all know what happens daily in our homes, on our road, in the market. You are attacked by these massless
Silence, please. Order.
These
Honorable
people
members, please,
who
silence.
do not have conscience. These are people who do not care about the life and property of the citizens of this country. So I am totally in opposition to this bill, and I'm urging this House, this honorable House, the House of Nigerian people, not to support this bill, because if we support this bill, if this thing becomes law, we are encouraging armed robbery in this country. I believe life for an armed robber is the best thing for us. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, this bill that is calling for a fixed jail term of 21 years for hardened criminals, Mr. Speaker, it is not fair, because this degree of offenses are not the same. Sometimes you will find these hardened criminals go to somebody's house, rape their children, kill the parents, and go out scot-free. So if they are apprehended, Mr. Speaker, they should face the law. The judges should be given the discretion to determine the degree of the offense, to know if this robbery is faced with so much violence or it is just a robbery that did not take any life. So there is no way the sponsor of this bill should call for a fixed jail time for such offenses.
The truth is that there's no way we can exhaust this debate, so we'll have to cut it off at some point, and that point is now. Yes. I don't think anything can be added or taken out of the debates. So I'll put the question, and I implore members just to vote their conscience. So the question is that the bill be now read a second time. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Those against it say nay. In order to be too sure, I'll listen twice. I'll throw it again. But I had my impression as to who carried the day. But in order to be too sure, I'll put it again. The question is that the bill be now read a second time. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. The nays have it.